This video is about solving a system of equations using the graphing method. So when we solve a system of equations with two equations, we need to graph each equation. Then determine the solution of the graph. The solution is written as an ordered pair, which is x comma y, and is the point of intersection of both graphs. Remember that the equations need to be in y equals form in order to graph. So let's look at number 1 and 2 where they already drew the graph for us and we need to just figure out the solution. So in number 1, I need to look at where my intersection point is. So my lines are intersecting here, and that coordinate is 4 for my x and -5 for my y, so it'd be 4 comma -5. Number 2 is another graph where my lines are intersecting. So I'm going to give that coordinate. My x coordinate would be 8 and my y coordinate would be 3. So let's draw some graphs now and then find the point of intersection. In number 1, we have the equation y equals -3x plus 7 and y equals 2x plus 2. So we're going to do the first equation and graph that line. Y equals -3x plus 7. So in this case, remember that slope is what's in front of the x, -3 over 1. My b value is the number that's by itself, 0, 7. So I'm going to start on my y-axis at 7, and I'm going to use the slope down 3, right 1 because it's negative, down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. I want to use more than just 3 dots this time in order to see a nice intersection point of my two lines. So I want to make a really long line this time. Once I've had enough dots, I'm going to connect the line of my graph. That's the first line. Now we need to draw our second line. So y equals 2x plus 2. So in this case, my slope is 2 over 1. My b value is 0, 2. So I'm going to start at 2 on the y-axis. My slope tells me up 2, right 1. Now that I see an intersection point, I can just draw my line in. And lastly, I need to identify where those lines are intersecting. So my solution in this case is 1, 4. Number 4, my first equation is y equals 1/2 x. So my slope in this case is 1/2. My b value is 0, 0 because there's no adding or subtracting to my x. So I'm going to start at the point 0, 0. I'm going to use the slope up 1 over 2. Remember, I want to make more than just 3 points this time. I want to go all the way across my graph so I get a nice line and connect my points. My second equation, y equals -x plus 6. My slope is the number in front of the x. So in this case, when it's a negative sign, remember that there's really a -1 there. So my slope is -1 over 1. My b value is the number by itself, so 0, 6. So I'm going to start at 6 on the y-axis, and my slope tells me down 1, right 1. I'm going to continue my dots until I see an intersection point. And once I have one, I can connect that line. And then the last thing I need to do is identify my solution. So in this case, my solution is the point where they're intersecting, 4, 2. Let's try one more graph together. So my first equation, I have y equals -3 over 2x plus 5. So my slope is the number in front of the x, -3 over 2. My b is the value that's by itself. So I'm going to start at 5 on the y-axis. My slope is -3, so down 3, right 2. So from this point, I'm going to go down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. I'm going to continue that all the way across my graph. And then I'm going to connect those points to make a line. Next, I'm going to look at my other equation, y equals 1/3 x minus 6. So my slope, again, is the number in front of the m, which is 1/3. My b is the value that's by itself, -6. So I'm going to start at -6 on the y-axis, up 1, right 3. I'm going to continue using that until I've hit a point of intersection, and then I can draw my line. So I need to find where are those two lines intersecting, which in this case, my solution would be 6, -4.